Hello, welcome back to the Elevate Care Insights Top Tips series. I'm Jolyon, and today I'd like to talk a little bit about Regulation 44 visits. The reason being, prior to your next inspection by Ofsted, whenever that is, one thing I think I can say almost for certain is that prior to them coming to see you, they will be scrutinising previous Regulation 44 reports as part of their pre-inspection planning. There's a couple of reasons for that. First of all, obviously, there's the content of those reports. That will help them understand what's been going on at the home over the last month or two or three or however many they look at. And it'll give them some kind of a steer as to what areas they might need to drill down into a little bit more deeply when they're undertaking the actual site visit. So, they'll be looking at significant events and any trends and patterns so that they can see whether there's anything that they need to look at as part of, for example, case tracking, where they might take one child and one incident and really look at that in detail and all the things that branch off it. So they're useful from that point of view, from Ofsted point, plus all the data that's included within a Regulation 44 report. There will be numerous bits of evidence there that will tell them the last time many things happened, such as fire drills and health and safety checks and certain risk assessments being updated. But there's another reason that they'll look at these Reg 44 reports, and I think it's an important one. Really, Regulation 44 reports can be very revealing about how seriously the service takes independent scrutiny and governance, really, as a whole. Because the real question that you want to think about when you're reading a Reg 44 report is not specifically what happened, but what did the service do about it? So here's what Regulation 44 actually requires people to do. Basically, it's for the provider of the service to commission an independent person to visit the home once a month and to interview children, parents and staff and look at records in order to form a view and produce a report which explains whether they believe that the home is effectively safeguarding the children that are living there, and does it promote children's well-being? Does the conduct of the home promote children's well-being? So obviously, those you could just answer them yes and yes or no and no. But a good report will obviously contain a great deal of evidence that shows how those judgments were reached, with data and statistics as well as feedback from people to support those judgments. So the report will go to the provider of the service, the manager if there is one, and the responsible individual. And of course, you're legally bound, or the independent person is legally bound to send a copy of that report to Ofsted. So one last thing before I go on to the top tips, and that is just don't underestimate the importance of the word independent within the context of the regulations. There is a legal test towards it. There are different categories which evidence and explain which people can and cannot be appointed as an independent visitor. So have a look through them before you make an appointment. So top tips. Tip number one is choose somebody who's going to tell you the truth and the whole truth. It's not good enough and not wise to appoint somebody just because of cost or just because of convenience, or whether there's somebody whose reports seem agreeable to you, shall we say. A glowing report every month in a home with problems, it doesn't protect anyone. So a report that's only ever warm and reassuring might in fact be concealing a lack of independence. So what you really want is your Reg 44 reports to tell the same story that the Ofsted inspection report will give after they come and visit you. If their reports are finding all sorts of issues and problems, and your Reg 44 reports for the last 6 months have been telling you that everything's fine, then I think there's definitely an issue there. So tip number two is to brief your visitor, but don't steer them. The time that they have in your service is limited, and it's helpful to make them use that time as constructively and positively as possible, but don't point them away from problems, because that's just going to hide stuff which is going to come out eventually, and will make the whole governance process look poor if there's no evidence that you've found it yourself. So tip 3, expect a critical friend, not an auditor with a clipboard. Reg 44 visitors need to be able to demonstrate that they can engage with children and with parents and with staff in order to get the evidence that they need to make those crucial judgments. So, the current inspection framework from Ofsted puts the child's lived experience at the heart of how inspections are undertaken and homes are judged. So what you need is your visitor to be looking through exactly the same sort of lens. If they're not talking to children, you need to have a conversation about that. Tip 4, respond, and respond in writing, and respond every time. This is where good homes can sometimes separate themselves from average homes or even poor homes. If you can demonstrate that every recommendation that was made had a specific action attached to it, with a named owner and a realistic timescale, which has been tracked to completion, then you're evidencing a really excellent process of management oversight, of governance, and of effective response to situations and issues that come about. So, tip 5, disagree by all means, but disagree professionally, and disagree in writing. Show evidence of issues being tackled and any conflict being resolved in a professional manner. So any recommendation that simply vanishes is not a good sign. And that all really leads into number 6, really, which is, you see these Regulation 44 reports as an opportunity for you. Make them work for you. Don't just file them away. Have a look at them and make sure that they evidence that case progression that I was talking about earlier. If you can see that there is a finding, and then there is a recommendation, and then there is an action plan, and then there is measurable improvement for children who live in the home, that's what Reg 44s are meant to do. That shows that they're doing it well. So see if you can get your Reg 44 process to demonstrate that, and you'll be going a long way towards demonstrating good oversight to Ofsted. So, genuine independence, brief people but don't steer them. Make sure they're a critical friend who has time for children and staff and the professionals around them. A written response every month, professional disagreement, which is never silent, and a straight line from finding to improvement. Get Reg 44s right, and you'll have a critical friend walking around your home every month, catching problems when they're small, and giving you an opportunity to put them right before they become a bigger problem. If you get it wrong, and basically you're just paying somebody to document the decline of a service. So that's it on Reg 44s. Next time, Reg 45s, which could be considered the partner to Reg 44, but they are very different, and I look forward to talking to you about them then. Thanks a lot.